Hi, I'm Susanna and this is my March reading wrap-up and April hopefuls. I finished 5 books in March. 2 of them were the final books in Stephanie Garber's Caraval trilogy, so let's start with Legendary. Donatella Drachna has saved her sister Scarlett from an arranged marriage and escaped her abusive father. But now she must pay her debt to a mysterious criminal and find out Legend's true name. Her only chance of uncovering the secret is to join Caraval again and win the game, or else she might lose everything, including her life. Legendary is the second book in Stephanie Garber's young adult fantasy trilogy Caraval. I enjoyed Caraval, but I must admit it didn't quite live up to my expectations. You can find my review of that book in my February wrap-up video. I had a similar reaction to Legendary. My feelings about this book are conflicted. On the one hand, I found it better than Caraval, but at the same time and paradoxically I found it more boring. I liked the plot and the expanded world building, but I just couldn't bring myself to care about what was happening. I think that was because I didn't connect with Tella even to the extent I did with Scarlett. In Caraval, I didn't like how self-centered Tella was. This book redeemed her somewhat. She is feisty and determined and not as naive as Scarlett. She knows what is at stake in the games, but that doesn't stop her from making bad decisions. She is still reckless and thoughtless, although she does have reasons for acting the way she does. We also learn what has been her goal all along, to save her and Scarlett's mother. We see very little of Scarlett in this book, so I'm still not fully convinced that they are the models of sisterly love that the series claims they are. Considering how hard the book claims that they have a strong bond, they barely interact in this book either. Instead, Tella spends the book ogling and smooching the boys. The relationship between Tella and Dante makes even less sense than the insta-love between Julian and Scarlett. They have no emotional connection and the supposed love between them seems only physical. Jax, on the other hand, was creepy and honestly made me a little hesitant to read Once Upon a Broken Heart series. The plot twists in this book were predictable. I could see who Legend was from miles away. I think the worst part of the book was that after it's revealed who Legend is, Stella still spends the rest of the book being like, I wonder who Legend is. It can't be that person, even though she heard that Legend was that person. As Stella needs to save the entire world from the evil fates, the stakes are higher in this book, but it didn't really feel like that. Tessa plays a different game from the other Caraval players that she's basically designed to win, so there is never any doubt whether she will win Caraval or not. That adds to the predictability of the plot. Like Caraval, I'm giving this book 4 stars, although I'm not sure if my rating is accurate. If you loved Caraval, I'm sure you loved this book as well. But if you didn't like Caraval, I don't think this book redeems the series enough to continue with it. I enjoyed both books enough to continue with the series, so let's move on to finale. 2 months after the Fates were released from a magical deck of cards, the lives of everyone in Valenda are at stake. Scarlett and Donatella Drachna must destroy the leader of the Fates, the Fallen Star, with the help of friends and potential foes. In the process, they uncover unexpected truths that threaten to upend their lives. Unlike Caraval, which was told from Scarlett's point of view, and Legendary, which was from Tella's point of view, Finale is told from dual point of view. So in Finale, we get both Scarlett's and Tella's reactions and viewpoints to the events, although Tella's point of view is more prominent. In this book, the stakes are even higher. The Fates are threatening the lives of everyone, and the sisters have to come up with a way to destroy them. As I was finishing this book, I realized what my issue with the entire series is. This series is too plot heavy, or at least action heavy, for my liking. The whole series crams as many plot twists as possible in the books, to the detriment of character relationships, character development, and even to a certain extent world building. Both in terms of the world building and the characters, there was a lot of telling instead of showing. Like I've said in my reviews of the previous books, the book claims that there is a strong relationship between Scarlett and Della, but we barely see them interacting with each other. Instead, they spend most of their time doing their own thing, which mostly involves pining after boys. In finale, there are a lot of plot ideas that never really come into fruition. To give a few examples, in the beginning of the book, Scarlett sets up a competition between her ex-fiancé Nicholas and her on-again, off-again boyfriend Julian. But immediately afterwards, she decides that she doesn't want to go through with it and the whole idea is abandoned. Later in the book, they need to get a magical object, but once they obtain it, they don't use it. Instead, the two main characters come up with an idea after idea for defeating the Fates, but nothing really sticks. I found that annoying as both Scarlett and Della act impulsively without any well thought out plans. And this is the last book in the series. It's like they haven't learned anything from the previous books. Nevertheless, I'm still giving this book 4 stars because it was an entertaining read. Now, if you don't mind that the plot has a shiny new object syndrome, you'll probably enjoy this series more than I did. I also finished 3 non-fiction books. 2 of them were about the ancient Greek novels and I've already taken them back to the library. The third was The Second Sex Part 2 by Simone de Beauvoir. This was my 3rd time reading the book, but the previous 2 times I read an abridged translation. So this was my first time of reading the book in full. It was interesting to revisit this book. It has been over 20 years since I first read it. Part 2, which is more theoretical, I finished in January. In February and March I read Part 2, which is more concrete and gives examples of women's lives and experiences. I remember the first time I read this book I preferred the more concrete second part, but the second time I read this book I felt I learned more from the more theoretical first part. This time I didn't have a clear preference for either part. Over the course of last 20 years I've learned so much about gender studies that it was impossible to miss how outdated this book is. Still, as a feminist classic, I highly recommend it. I'm currently reading 3 books that I will continue in April. I'm still reading The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, and I won't be finishing this beast of a book until May. I'm also in the middle of a non-fiction book about dog breeds, and I'm continuing my reread of the collected ancient Greek novels. Besides those 3, I'm also starting 5 books in April. The one I'm most excited about is Lies Whizzing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. I know nothing about this book except the cover is gorgeous and it seems to be a Greek mythology retelling. I want to start SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. I love her documentaries about ancient Rome, so I'm really excited to read this as well. The 3 others are scholarly non-fiction books about the ancient Greek novels. A Study of Daphnis and Chloe by R.L. Hunter, Chariton of Aphrodisias and the Invention of Greek Love novel by Stephen Dilke, and Dirty Love, The Genealogy of Ancient Greek Novel by Tim Whitmarsh. So those are the books I read in March and my goals for April. Let me know in the comments what your favorite book in March was, and I'll see you in my next video.